Hi, Gary Port with Port and Sub NY Divorce Facts, and I'm here with Margreit McInnis from
Equity First Consultants.
We're going to be talking about both divorce and the wonderful world of debt credit repair. Now, divorce, unfortunately, is not only about downsizing, but it's about dividing things. And some of the things you have to divide is going to be debt, and sometimes you need to get rid of debt in order to get other things in the marriage. So, for example, some people want to buy out their spouse in the house, but they may have some problem with the credit. So, from time to time, I have to deal with credit repair companies who will help us get our clients to where they need to be. And I thought it'd be a great idea to have Marguerite come in here and discuss what she and her company can do to help you guys get on with the rest of your life. So, let's talk a bit about debt credit repair.
Okay, so what we do is we call it credit and financial solutions. So what that means is credit and things around credit could be establishing, reestablishing, removing negative items, and financial could be helping clients kind of get to the next step of getting to the equity if they're house rich, cash poor, buying one spouse or the other, buying each other out, or even everybody sells the property and then everybody downsizes or splits out. So it's
fixing credit. Yeah. How do we fix the credit if someone's credit is messed up and we are now in a position where one spouse wants to buy out the house but can't do it?
Right. Okay, so the first thing that we do is aggressively go line by line through our client's credit report. And then we identify where, what's dragging the score down. So if we have a lot of debt or debt that needs to be settled out, sometimes we have to put that to the side first and look at negative reporting. So the negative reporting, late payments, derogatory status, old collections, even those that were paid off that might still be reporting as negative on a credit.
Okay, so we've got these negative charges. How do we remove the negative charges?
Well, the first thing we look at is we go through a verification process. We always work directly with the creditor. And so by doing that, we verify the dates of last activity. We validate that it is even correctly in the client's name. It's adhering to all consumer laws. And that's the first thing that we do. The next step is working with the creditor. If it's an old collection, a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, it might be paid off, but it's still showing up as a derogatory item on credit, we would work with the creditor to get them to remove it and delete it from credit. So it's late payments, it's account status, and then sometimes there's negative reporting that gets verified, which means it's within the statute of limitations, it's not violating any consumer reporting laws. So then we have to look at other things like establishing new credit, trying to build up the good side of credit, because some of those negative items we were not able to remove. So it really depends, and it's a very case-by-case situation.
Okay, so when we take a look at this bad credit history then, the goal then is to basically parse out the derogatory stuff, the stuff that's old, the stuff that maybe negotiations can occur to pull it all off. So, all right, so let's take a sort of a typical situation. One spouse wants to buy out the other on the house. Now, I love buyouts because we don't have brokerage fees involved, we don't have closing costs, and there are no capital gains taxes. It's a win for the party who's walking away, but the party who's taking the house, they've got to get the mortgage to buy out the other person, and they got to get the right interest rate.
Correct.
So now we've got someone, let's say they make about $70,000, $80,000 a year. They may be getting about another $20,000 in child support payments. They've got some, because of the divorce, both parties were at fault here, and we'll say that they both screwed up their credits.
Okay.
So their credit scores are dropped maybe to about 500, maybe 600. How do we fix this? How do we try to get this situation where this spouse can buy out the other spouse?
Well, again, we would first identify some of the derogatory payment history, anything that we can remove, because some of the outstanding debt, the person, either party may not have the cash on hand to settle out that debt. So the first step is going for the derogatory, the bad payment history, talking to clients about budgeting, staying within that 30-day grace period window, because they're not allowed to report you late unless you're 30 days or more past the due date. So sometimes they'll charge you a late fee if you're 10 days late, 15 days late, but they can't report you late to the credit bureaus until you're 30 days. So some of it's behavior. So we would target that. We would, with a 500 score, you're not going to qualify for home equity line of credit. You're not going to qualify for, refinancing or buying the other person out. Sometimes we have to go in steps. So for instance, if both parties are able to cooperate with each other and let's work on both their scores to get them up at least to the point that they could borrow equity, then settle debt, then buy the other out.
And
so sometimes it's multi-step.
Okay, and that's where I come in as the divorce lawyer, because I
Yep.
will put in the agreement saying you have 5 months, 8 months, 10 months, 2 years to buy out the other party.
Correct.
And during that period of time that we've set forth in the agreement, you're working to get them to where they need to be. So
Exactly.
when the date hits, that spouse can do the buyout.
Yeah, and it is best for everybody if both of the parties are having credit issues. We really should be working on both at the same time, because even the person who's getting the money and buying out and walking away, they're going to have to rent or buy something else. So if their credit is in question and need of fixing or repairing or establishing, whatever the case may be, it's important for that person too. Because most likely there's children involved. Children will have to go from one house to the other, whatever. Everybody needs proper space for kids. So it's really important to work on both parties.
So it's very clear then in a divorce, one of the things that we have to worry about, in addition to who gets the house, who gets the kids, is we also have to plan in basically a mature, calm fashion.
Yes.
Both parties should work together to try to get the credit issues repaired, because it's in both of their interests.
Correct. And having been through a divorce myself, I know that it is really a significant deconstructing of life. Not certainly where everybody's set out to be when they get married. And it can be really, really difficult to get to that middle ground when there's so much resentment and anger and hurt and emotions involved. But we have to try to grab our grown-up ribbons off the wall and wear them and say, like, in order for us both to reach healthy finances, healthy security, healthy emotions, we've got to cooperate and get through making sure the credit's in good space. And that's best for the kids. And when it's best for the kids, it's best for everyone involved. So it's definitely hard to grab that grown-up ribbon sometimes, but you got to do it.
And it seems clear that now, when you're in the midst of the divorce, this is one of the things that you have to be planning on during the divorce process itself, not wait till the divorce is over and figure out, okay, now we're at the end, we've got the judgment divorce, what do I do next? This has got to be part of that actual divorce planning.
I would highly recommend that it be part of it. Absolutely highly recommend. And it to be financially healthy helps emotional health, right? If we're feeling insecure about our cash flow, about our ability to own a home, to provide for our children, that just interferes with just about everything to do with the other areas of life. So it is super important, and I firmly believe it needs to be part of the original agreement and bringing everybody onto the same page.
And considering that she lived that, I think I'm going to end with that.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Marguerite. And Gary Port from Port and Sava. We try to help you get on with the rest of your life, and this is part of the process. And Marguerite from? Margreit
McInnis from Equity First Consultants, always here to help you. EquityFirstConsultants.com is our website, so you can reach out to myself and with any questions that you have.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Marguerite.
Thanks, Gary.